Welcome.
Everton.
Welcome to Follow Everton. I'm here with Basil and Jonathan to celebrate and discuss Everton's narrow, slender win away at West Brom.
Celebrate's an interesting word, isn't it, Ryan?
What on earth is that at the end?
Nothing else we can do but celebrate.
It's a typical Everton performance. That it's every single time we see it time and time again. I say to my dad when I'm watching, and it's just about time management, game management. Just don't do any stupid mistakes. And of course, one goes in the back of the net. It's ridiculous and typical of Everton. And I know it was offside, but it's only minimal. But the point is, we shouldn't be conceding, especially to a side that is like going down and getting relegated. That was not a fight or a team that is worthy of Champions League football, more like Championship football, or a team that's in a relegation battle. We
don't look like Champions League team. I think we've won 3 games in a row without conceding a goal, but I don't know how we did that today. It was shite, and it was just as bad as the Southampton game. But I think at the end of the day, obviously, it's the 3 points that matter. But I am pissed off that we've allowed them to get that at the end. I know we're talking about the slightest margin, but we're that close away from throwing away 3 points.
I'm fuming. It's against a team like Brom, which we just shouldn't be losing against. And it's not even like we just slipped up at the end and it was good performance. The whole performance from start to finish was absolutely pathetic.
Got a comment here from Nev Cooper. Hiya, Nev. How are you doing? Great win today. West Bromwich Albions were well drilled. It's a fair comment. I don't think West Brom played that well today at all. I don't think they played too bad. That's what I meant to say.
I agree. I thought West Ham were very disciplined. You know, when we got the ball, they had everyone behind the ball, made it difficult to get through. And when they got the ball, they seemed to play right through us. So I thought they played quite well. But half of that was down to our own very shocking performance for most of the game.
Yeah,
but the point is, why are we still performing like that against a team that is like I think they're 19th, and that they kept flashing up statistics during the game, and it was that they'd scored the fewest amount of goals in the second half. They hadn't won any games since conceding, and I know they didn't win, and I know it's a very important 3 points and we're 4th, and we should be happy. But it's just the principle that against a team that are 19th and are clearly going down or are going to be very close, or a team that are challenging for Championship top football against the best in the league, why are we performing so poorly? It should be an easy, comfortable win.
If you take it on face value and forget all the stats and everything, forget table positions, you just look at the game and the two sides, you'd think they were both around the same part of the table, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I didn't think there was much between the teams at all.
That was a relegation battle we just watched, not a fight for the win.
I don't want to be too negative, obviously, because we have just climbed into the top 4. But here's a comment from Mary Westhead. Only just we didn't play well, obviously referring to the fact that it was really a narrow win today. It was narrow against Southampton. You look at West Brom, and I thought Diane, I don't know how you pronounce that. Number 17 up front for them, the big lad. It's brilliant, wasn't he?
He definitely he deserved to score more than one, quite frankly. To be fair, it was. I'm sure we'll come on to it, but it was a well-worked goal from us. But they definitely deserve to have a goal on their score sheet.
Okay.
I think this was more satisfying than Southampton, only because we were even worse in performance than Southampton. So it feels
inside, I feel like it's a loss, though. The performance is terrible.
I don't, because I've seen us do the same performance against Newcastle, Fulham, and all the other teams.
I've been there with you.
This time we've actually somehow come away with 3 points and moved ahead of the shite. So
yeah, but by a couple of millimeters of a guy's foot. That's why we're where we are.
So. And the blue in me wants Chelsea to win at all costs. I don't care. Really,
I would take a draw. I think a draw is a much better result for us, and it's still not a win at Anfield. So
the draw makes it such a hard watch, isn't it? You'll be watching it, wanting nothing to happen.
Yeah, but the Evertonian in me wants Chelsea to win, and then us go and beat them on Monday. But
very good one.
Yeah. So there's 11 watching. There's been up and down numbers. There's been 15, 11 people. Leave your comment. We like to hear from you. We want you in an interactive video with us. I'm gonna start with the team, obviously, that Everton set up with today. They changed. It wasn't the 4-4-2 diamond. It was more of an orthodox 4-4-2. A flat midfield. Got another comment from Nev. I'm going to come to in a minute. Just going to talk about the team. Were you happy with the lineup from Carlo?
I think it was quite a disappointing lineup, and I'll tell you why. The reason is, I think, and I said this for the whole first half, and it was so obvious, we didn't have creative passes going forward, and if we did, it wasn't beating the first man. Every single time, it would either it would be blocked or it would just not amount to anything. And then as soon as Sigurdsson came on and he delivered the ball, which scored the goal, no one should be able to give Sigurdsson that much time and space. But I think, again, James wasn't ready for the game. But Sigurdsson should have started because he provided a lot going forward, as we've seen.
I think it must have been a rotation thing that he wasn't 100% match fit. I think Ancelotti touched on it in the press conference, and that's why Iwobi came in. And obviously Bernard's been out in the cold, so he got a chance tonight. And, it was more of a flat 4-4-2 with wingers. And, we didn't really get any joy at all playing with those wingers, did we?
We just struggled way too much.
So you think the starting 11 wasn't quite right, but obviously those substitutions, Sigurdsson.
It's hard to judge the starting 11 because you don't want to argue with Ancelotti when you see the 11. It wasn't a bad looking 11. It wasn't like
it wasn't. It's just we were. It was clear once we'd started we were lacking something.
We only had so many players available.
John, comment for you from Nev Cooper. Stop slagging off the boys. West Bromwich Albion only made 3 chances, 46 points. Boys are flying. Carlo had 7 players missing today and 7 out on loan. I'm not quite sure what the need to mention the 7 on loan is. We were down to the bare bones. It's a fair comment. And
it is a fair comment.
I'm going to leave that up there, actually, while you answer that for him.
It is a fair comment. And I know I'm being harsh, but the point is, it's not like we're battling against like a team like Leicester or someone where they're very close competition-wise to us. You'll start to learn. I'm actually very, very positive, and I back the boys. When people were slagging off Tom Davies the whole time, I was backing him to like the next level, as Ryan and Basil will tell you. It's so frustrating seeing an Everton team where we're supposed to be making progress and we are sitting in 4th, which is incredible. It's very frustrating to see simple mistakes which we can work on, or just about game management towards the end and seeing a ball go into the back of the net. And it's just small things like this. They cost us big points. And if we want to consistently challenge for top 4 and not just be like, now we're in the top 4 and then we drop back out to 6 and we're only like seeing it every so often. If we want to consistently stay up there and keep challenging, then we're going to have to cut out these mistakes. And that's why I'm being so critical against a team like West Brom. So it is you've
got high expectations, Jonathan. You are
I do. I really want us to push this season and go for it. So I want us to set a new standard up here as opposed to the Everton that we've seen down here.
Nev, you do make a fair comment. We are obviously delighted to be in the top 4. We're frustrated with the performance overall. We think we should be doing better away at West Brom, especially if we've got aspirations of finishing in the top 4. At the end of the day, the 3 points are massive and they are amazing. Lee Hill, higher. Do you think the changes to the midfield were right today? They were partly
enforced. What's that in regards to? As the subs or the way it started?
I'm gonna interpret that as Iwobi and Bernard starting.
Again, we were lacking players. It's not a bad formation to start with. It's just it was clear once we started that we weren't getting anywhere. So then I think the subs, and he made them fairly early on. I wouldn't have made it before half time, even though it was a dreadful half. But I do think bringing Sigurdsson on and bringing Alan on, Alan brought a lot of just composure and like just a base that we needed, and then Sigurdsson going forward did provide what we needed.
It was very contrasting performance between the first 60 minutes and the following 30 minutes, and I think that was down to the system and the midfield. And obviously, we had to start with the team we put out with Decore and Gomez in the midfield, and we're missing like an Allen or a Tom Davies to break the play up. So you've often got your centre backs chasing shadows out to close the strike, the forwards down. And we just looked really vulnerable to their attack in the first half. And I think that changed when Alan came on. We seemed to get a bit more of a grip, nicking balls, recycling possession a bit faster, especially when we scored the goal. It gave us the lift, the belief that we could go on and playing the diamond. I thought we looked better as soon as we switched to the diamond. I think the 4-4-2 became very congested with West Brom's very narrow, compact setup as well. And by actually taking Iwobi off and putting Bernard central, meant there was gaps on left and right of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. So Richarlison often ran into space, and we just looked to have more joy playing that system, I felt.
I think I would have introduced King quite a lot earlier on. I think we were lacking quite a lot going forward, and just to see a fresh player, an introduction of something different would have been useful as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that. I thought that the lineup was partially enforced, and with looking at Chelsea in mind as well with that game. I didn't think Sigurdsson was going to start because I think he's going to play against Chelsea. I'm frustrated, to be honest. I don't think Iwobi played well at all. I thought his end product was shocking. Holgate made a stupid challenge, got booked quite early on.
That was the first actual challenge he made as well. All the rest, he just wasn't closing him down, let the ball go in.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And then it just shows a lack of maturity from him. And I thought the big guy up front for West Brom was giving us loads of problems at centre back. Maybe missed Mina.
We did.
I think Decore had a good game, or Gomez, and Calvert-Lewin as well. That golden chance that he completely wasted.
I was on a plate. That's another frustrating thing. It's things like that which any other top team easily taking that.
Well, in the corner of the goal.
He hits it straight at him. The keeper barely moves. It's just straight at him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's poor. He doesn't adjust his body shape. He doesn't get good contact on the ball, and he doesn't really aim it anywhere. He just kind of just hits it. But I think you've just got to be thankful we have got the 3 points. If we hadn't have scored the goal and we'd be looking back at that, we'll be feeling really sick tonight. But
isolate the goal on its own. It was a good goal. It was a shame about the first initial ball, but it came back out, and Sigurdsson timed it well, waited for the right pass, and if you watch the swaz, the ball just curls around, and then Richarlison bullet header. So on its own, the goal was very good, but it was just a shame we didn't have more play like that.
Yeah. There was a few moments that we did string a few passes. I think I just want to touch on a little bit on Bernard. I don't know what you felt of his performance. I don't think it was overall amazing, but I actually thought when he came in to receive the ball or came central, he was much better. In the first half, he got the ball, he threaded it through to Decore. It made the chance for Richarlison, which he nearly scored. And in the second half, when he got central, we started opening up a bit more. So, and I'm not sure Bernard is suited to that left wing position that he started in.
I would say Bernard's overall performance was average at best to average to poor. He definitely wasn't the worst player on the pitch, but he wasn't providing what he should be.
Let us know what you think about Bernard in the comments box.
And to add to that, I think Decore's probably had one of his worst games. Holgate's probably had one of his worst games. And just on Holgate, every time he was trying to defend or block the ball, he was always far too far away from the actual defender, meaning the ball could easily be delivered into our box, and it caused us more issues.
He's not a fullback, John.
Yeah,
he's
not really a fullback. He does look like a centre back playing right back for me.
Well, then that's a positional issue, because he was always the one that was in the corner trying to get the ball. So someone else should be there then sorting out that issue.
And very often we let them put crosses in. We didn't get close to them. We didn't work.
Exactly. We need to close them down a lot earlier.
Hard enough generally during the game. And you look at that chance at the end, which they, effectively they scored, but it was offside. And, we just didn't close the cross down. And, it's just, we won't get
Everyone dropped, and then no one holds the line. And then
we don't press. We don't pass.
I think also Decore was fairly weak this game as well. Usually he's very solid in the back, and he also provides something going forward, although today he didn't have either. And every single pass that he played, I'm pretty sure went backwards. Didn't see
a lot of that.
I felt like Decore was trying to get up the pitch and do stuff up the pitch, and he always felt like he had to get back, and he was basically just in limbo the whole game. And
even when he had space and he was on the ball, we could be like not deep in a half, but like moving forward, and instantly he'll just turn around and pass backwards. And it should be.
It wasn't just him though.
It wasn't.
They were all guilty of passing back a lot of the time when they could have gone forward and not and taking stupid risks in the wrong area. I don't mind them playing, and trying to do something in the final third, but a lot of the time we're making stupid mistakes.
The amount of times we gave away the ball to West Brom was too many to count, and it just every single time it just adds more pressure onto us as they keep coming forward again and again and again. Whereas if we just control ourselves, take a bit of time, pass it around, and move forward in a controlled way, as opposed to just trying to send the ball up there randomly, it would have made a lot better.
When we give the ball away in those transitions, and Dean's caught up the pitch, we don't look good. I don't know what's happened there with Ryan, but we don't look good there. We seem to be chasing, like Gomez and Decore are quite pedestrian in there trying to get back.
Yeah, so it was difficult in the first half. We didn't really produce anything. If I was Ancelotti, I would have given them an absolute bollocking in the dressing room at half time.
Alan made a difference, but he's slow. He looks slow. He's just another snail in the midfield.
I've got a lot of snails, a lot of slugs all over the team.
Depends what team you get, though, because sometimes they could be absolutely on it. You get intricate passing, 1, 2, 3, bang, goal. Whereas tonight, it was very much the opposite, always going back to Pickford, being very slow, parking the bus, even though it's 0-0.
Well, some of those balls, he's just whacking it upfield, like, 2 or 3 times. It just gets mopped up by Bartley for West Brom at the back. And then he just keeps doing it, keeps sending long balls.
Pickford play well.
In the first few minutes, my mouth was open like this for about a good few minutes. After he made that save, and on the replay, it was fingertips. So it was a very good save there. But also, he did drop the ball on Keane's head, or he fell over. And again, if their striker was about a millimetre to the left, that would have been hammered home as well. So good save and bit of a issue there.
We understood tactically how to play against them. I think a lot of our strengths can be going in behind the long balls, being physical, and I think their strengths were basically defending against that. And we did that too much for me. I want to see us pass through the lines and get on the ball and play quicker, and we couldn't do that either. So we basically offered nothing till we had Sigurdsson and Allen to inject the tempo into the game.
I noticed a lot of similarity between Southampton's game and our game today. I think it's the lack of urgency and the mindset. It's like, it's a very weak team. We've got this in the bag. I'm sure we'll score eventually. And then time goes on, and you're like, hang on, are we actually going to score here? And then again, right at the end, we saw it in the Southampton game. They were very close to scoring as well. And West Brom, again, it was offside, luckily for us. But again, we could have easily fluffed it against both teams, and that would have been 4 points dropped against both of them together. So
yeah, I definitely think on another day we lose both games or we draw both games. I just don't think the performance was particularly good. It was very Italian style. Let's try and nick a goal, but I think it was all quite unnecessary because West Brom are a good team. They haven't got much quality at all. We always sink to the level of whoever we play against. That pisses me off.
We always turn up against the top 6 teams, put in an absolute shift of a performance, and then we just sit back against the lower teams. But if you look at it, that's where we actually drop our points. And if we actually showed a bit of consistency, like against Fulham or Southampton or West Brom, and I know we've won these 2 games, but other teams, it shouldn't be a result like that. It should be an easy, comfortable win, give us some good confidence into going into Chelsea. And I think now, even though we have won like 3 games in a row, I think now our mindset is going to be, that was a bit of a dodgy performance there, and it's not very inspiring to go into the Chelsea game where we need that's a fixture if we want to finish top 4. And it's not very confidence inspiring to the team.
Well, what we have proved, I think, today is that we can't play without the creative players, either Sigurdsson or James. We need one of them in the team.
I said that it provides so much going forward.
Teams that play really, compact and just get everyone behind the ball. We just look like we don't know what to do to break.
Can I just interrupt you there? I know we've been a little bit negative in the video, but if you look at the table, 46 points, got a game in hand. If we win that game in hand, Man United drop points. We said the other day, Man United, I said they're going to drop points. Leicester are going to drop points. They have done.
We do have a game in hand on them. I'm not knocking Everton's overall attitude and performance.
2
I'm
points
just
behind
isolating this West Brom game. Yeah, but if you look at it as not as like a 3-point. If you actually look in depth at the game, it was a very, very poor performance. We were lucky. It was a good goal. I'm not taking anything away from the goal. It's just there could have easily not been 3 points. So could a Southampton game. And it just shows that if we'd taken off 4 points, we'd actually be down in 8th place with Spurs. So I know it's two like sort of lucky results. So overall, it was a poor performance. I'm over the moon that we're 4th. I'm buzzing inside, but it's just very difficult to show that when you've had such a poor performance like that.
Yeah, and to be honest, do you think if that incident at the end hadn't happened, it would have changed maybe your opinion on the game? Do you think that it's kind of?
I think it would have
still
done. Not, but I would have still said it was quite a poor performance, but I wouldn't have been so. I think it's just because it happened literally in like the last minute. So I'm that's the only thing I can like remember at the moment of the game, and I'm just so focused on that. So it's just a very negative outset. If it hadn't have happened, I would have overall been like buzzing and like like more obviously. But I think overall it was still quite a poor performance.
Yeah, it reminded me of some of the classic away games under Koeman at times where we know we're going to come a little bit under the cosh with balls into the box, and felt we dealt with it fairly well, but just times where we just thought we were going to throw it into the net or going to concede from a set piece, or just I was kind of waiting for that goal, and right at the end there I was like, when that went in, I thought that was going to happen. The way the game was coming, West Brom were going to score, and then they stopped celebrating. I was like, I
said I could see it happen.
I mean, luckily
it was coming. We were waiting for it.
We've turned
please. Oh.
The Sheffield United performance when we went away and won 1-0, it reminds me a lot of that. I think we were worse in this game, but the way that we reacted a bit more in the second half and found that goal, as opposed to the games against Fulham, Newcastle away, Southampton away, where we just looked awful in the first half and even worse in the second half. At least, we reacted, the subs were good, and we found a way to win. And, it is 10 points. We are in 4th for a bit, and the game in hand, we could get close to United. If we played that game in hand and won tonight, we'd be right up there with United and Leicester. So we've got to be pleased with where we are, but we've just got to just be consistent. I don't get caught up with the table too much at this stage.
Okay, I just want to touch briefly on one more thing with this game before we wrap up and just close. Obviously, the goal, Richarlison's goal, that's his 6th in 6 games, I think. Sigurdsson seems to have raised his game. Now he's got a bit of competition for his place from James Rodriguez. That was a great ball, wasn't it? And really good quality.
Fantastic ball, yeah.
Well weighted.
Sigurdsson's raised his game.
Direct on his head.
Fantastic. And just going back to the table again. So as I said before, Man United 51
I think it's
points.
also coming in.
Oh, there seems to be a little bit of delay. Man United 51 points, Leicester 50 points, Everton 46 points, but played 26 games. So if they were to win their game in hand, they'd be on 49 points, 2 points off second. And I'm going to call it now that we're going to go on a big run now and finish second. You can remember this video. We're going to finish above Man U.
We have got the biggest, the longest winning streak of any team except City at the moment.
Saying it now on camera, we're going to finish second. Okay, because I think Man United are going to lose more games, and Leicester have got injuries, and
it's
the standard of the league isn't great.
It's really interesting. We've got to keep this up because we've got a lot of fixtures against these so-called bottom half teams. We've got to keep it up. But we seem to suit playing the away sides. We raise our game. We drop deep. We're clinical when we do get the ball, which is not that much. We know we're not going to get many chances. These games we've got coming up, we're going to have the ball. We're going to have the opportunity. We have to make it count instead of playing like we think there's going to be another dozen opportunities coming. We have to inject tempo, because there's a real opportunity to finish in the top 4. There's no doubt this could be the best opportunity we have for a few years.
I would say if we're looking to have a top 4 finish, then we definitely need to improve our deliveries into the box. I think, again, as we've kind of said, that I don't think the original team was poor. I just think that our deliveries into the box were quite weak. Definitely missed out on having Sigurdsson or James starting. But if we can sort that issue out and just have tighter control at the back with Allen or Davies even in the starting team, I do think we can have a much better performance against Chelsea.
We don't really know where all these players are. We just presume they weren't quite ready and they'll return on Monday. Tom Davis, James Rodriguez,
The question:
Seamus Coleman.
Would you rather have beat City in the FA Cup or finish 4th?
Good question. I think I would rather
not beat City in the
That's a
FA
good
Cup.
question.
I'm not giving you any further than beating City. You just get to beat City.
Oh, then a million
like
percent
this
Champions League. But
We're not ready
if it was
for
to win the
Champions
cup,
League.
I would still take. Do I think we're ready for Champions League? Probably not. I reckon we'd have a very good go at Europa League. I think it's just a bit of time developing. But I reckon we give Europa League a good run for its money. Champions League, we might get knocked out a bit early.
League.
But it's definitely good to see we're moving in the right. No, but it's good to see we're moving in the right direction.
I don't want Europa League.
I'm not saying we do either. I'm just saying it's nice to see that we're actually moving in the right direction now.
I think if we got into the Champions League, we wouldn't be seeded and we get whooped. We'd have to sign some players in the summer. But Europa League would just be.
Yeah, but just getting the position of Champions League allows players to come to us. I think that's where we slipped in the past. Because players have been like, they want Europa League or Champions League. If they're not getting that, they'll go to other clubs. So we've actually had some very, very good signings, good players, and they've gone elsewhere to bigger clubs. Whereas if now we can actually accomplish getting Champions League, players will want to stay and want to come to us. And we will be able to get somewhere.
Yeah, we will attract players. With Ancelotti in charge, we'll attract players, definitely, if we reach top 4. Listen, guys, thank you for joining, Basil and Jonathan. Really nice to speak to you again and celebrate another 3 points. It was a very close game, a hard-fought 1-0 win. We got quite lucky at the end, but a win is a win, and on we go. You're going to say up the Toffees?
Up the Toffees, indeed.
And now we're going to go and watch Liverpool versus Chelsea.
It's 0-0.
Down with the red side.
Listen, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like the video on Facebook and give us a subscribe on YouTube. Thank you. Take care. Bye.